As of this video uploading, the latest Steam Next Fest is coming to an end, and as always, I tried to play as many demos as possible. If you don't know, the Steam Next Fest is a week-long event on Steam where a lot of developers upload their demos for games that should be coming out pretty soon. The Next Fest happens 3 times a year in February, June, and October. I've made videos in the past on all of the indie games I play during the Next Fest, and this one is no different. No rankings, no top 10s, just quickly reviewing every single game that I played during this Next Fest, and if you want to buy these games or wishlist them at least, the links will be in the description. As always, all of them will be on Steam, of course, but if you like it, wishlist it. Let's get going. The first game I picked up was Galaia. It plans to release July 18th, 2024, and this is an action roguelite top-down shooter game, and it's advertised as a puzzle game as well, but the demo had no puzzle aspects. You go through 2 different worlds in a simple pick-your-path style. You have a dash that automatically reloads your weapon, mega shots towards the end of each clip that do a good amount of damage, and some good meta progression that doesn't seem too grindy to get. I enjoyed my time with this demo and want to play this one on day 1, but I feel the enemies are rather lacking and some sound designs are really annoying, like taking damage. The issues with this game are easy to fix, and I think this little top-down game will provide any fans of this genre a good amount of entertainment. Next is Sworn, which does not have a release date yet, but is scheduled for 2024. It's a hack-and-slash action roguelite that reminded me a lot of Hades, but this game did offer co-op and multiplayer with up to 4 players, which I found to be pretty cool, which I didn't do, but the concept is nice. The combat and run setup is super similar to Hades, where you get upgrades on a main, side, and magic attack by, let's just say, gods. It has some shops, events, challenges, and I found this game incredibly hard with my 1 hour of playtime, but quite addicting really. There was multiple different currencies and a lot of meta progression, which I always love. It also has different characters, all with different weapons that you can buy and different magic abilities, so a lot of run variety is in this game. If you're a Hades fan, 100% keep your eye on this one. It's great. Odinfall was probably my favorite game played, and for good reason, as it reminded me of Nuclear Throne and Enter the Gungeon. It's a top-down shooter that has level setups like Nuclear Throne, where you clear out one area and then go to the next. Enemies drop ammo and health, and you can also find some guns. The levels are incredibly short. The game has multiple characters with different buffs, and each one has their own skill tree with meta progression. I honestly want this game now, and will 100% be doing everything once it drops. Also, it has a cute overworld map. Next, we have What the Car, which is scheduled to release in September of 2024, and this game is simple, stupid fun. You play as a weird car at a bunch of different levels. It definitely feels like a game you play once and then you're kinda done, but the demo has a solid amount of levels and provided good entertainment for me. It's a good time, and I will probably play this one on release. Not much else to say. Next, we have a more popular game, I'd say, and it's Wizard of Legend 2. I played the first game quite a bit, but this one is way different, especially the graphics. I didn't get that far in a run, but was able to clear the first mini-boss and saw a lot of potential with this one. Like a lot of these roguelites, it has some meta progression, but like its predecessor, it's gonna have a lot of arcana options, which also will give you a lot of variety in your runs and make every run feel so unique. I also think this game will end up being easier than the original once you get a few hours in, but in the first hour or so, I was struggling, but having a great time doing it. I think this game is gonna be great. Next demo we played is Drillcore, which reminded me a lot of Dome Keeper and Wall Road at first. Its setup is similar, where you dig in the mines during the day and fend off monsters at night. I was consumed by this game immediately. In your run, you have 3 different characters with miners, collectors, and guards, and you can upgrade them with other buildings, but they all serve an important purpose with getting gems. The gems allow you to buy turrets to fend off from the monsters at night and unlock more buildings. For a demo, this game is incredibly in-depth, and you can easily sink 10+ hours into it. This is one of the best games I've played during this Next Fest, and I am super excited to see more of it. It also, like most of these roguelites, has really good meta progression that make the run even better. Areo GPX is next, and it's an F-Zero style racing game that felt a little generic to me, but I can see the appeal if you grew up loving F-Zero. The demo had single player with only Grand Prix and single races, and it was fun, I'll say that, but nothing too crazy for me. I would love to play this game in multiplayer and get destroyed in the process, as I couldn't even beat the CPUs on a couple of the races, but nothing really stood out. But one to play if you're into this genre, especially F-Zero. A Metroidvania blesses this list finally, and it's Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. This is a game I've had my eye on for a bit, as it looks a lot like Hollow Knight in a few areas, but does stand out when playing. In the short 1 hour demo, you are showcased with a lot of fun combat and traversal, but you only get one boss fight, and you unlock a dash towards the end of the demo. But getting there, you learn the combat, the secrets to find, and extra items to equip that buff you. If you're a fan of Metroidvania games, this is one to pick up on day one, as it releases in July of 2024. We have another Metroidvania next with Blade Chimera. This feels like one of the more popular games from this Steam Next Fest, and I can see the appeal. You play as a demon hunter named Shin, and the most unique feature I saw in this demo was the sword that you get. The sword allows you for easier traversal and more unique combat. It can turn into objects, shield you from projectiles, or even damage the enemies. I will say I felt the combat with the gun was more lackluster than anything else, but the sword helps make up for that. It has a skill tree as well, and it really reminded me of Castlevania with how everything was set up, especially the menus. Another game that Metroidvania fans should keep their eye on. This next game is one I wasn't sure how I'd like, but ended up loving it, and it's Blueprints. It's a puzzle exploration game where you inherit a mansion from your uncle, but you need to find the 46th room. Every day in the mansion, you pick where every room is, and every room can have different items, whether it be keys, gems, or money. The gems and keys unlock rooms, and the money allows you to buy items from the couple shops that you may find. You can find items scattered in all the different rooms, but every room has its own effect. I'm not 100% sure what the end goal of this run really is, but every run you have a certain number of steps, and each time you enter a room, your step counter goes down. So you need to strategically plan your route and make sure you don't backtrack too much. This game was a great time, really, and it didn't feel too much like a puzzle game for me, but a single-player exploration game. I think a lot of people would like this if they gave it a try. Now, I always tend to have at least one city builder style game in these lists, and this time I got sucked into Hollywood Animal, and I was super impressed with this one as well. All these games I'm super impressed with. You build a 1930s Hollywood studio from the ground up and make a bunch of movies in this game. There was a lot of reading, but the city building aspect was quite unique to me. You have all your typical buildings you see on a movie set, but you still need to manage all of the actors you hire, marketing for the movies that you make, and then making the movies. And you also have to hire all the other talent outside of actors. This city builder is incredibly in-depth, and the demo feels like it will never end. The concept of making a movie and slowly leveling up your writers, producers, and actors so they can make better movies down the line is a concept I never really thought of. The upgrades for buildings take a while, yes, but if you're a city builder fan, you 100% need to check this one out. This game has so much that I didn't cover, but I'll just say it's 100% worth it. I wanted to play the demo for about 30 minutes max, and I ended up playing for almost 2 hours. Aloft is the next game I played, and it's a survival sandbox style game. Not really my forte, but I was trying to be more open to new genres, and I was not super impressed with it. You gather resources and can craft a good amount, and even build your own houses like I did. Isn't it beautiful? But the world was quite empty, and I was quite lost on what I needed to do once I crafted the glider. I'm not sure if that's usually how these survival games are, but there were no enemies and no clear objective. But hey, I liked my house, and I think I just straight up stunk at this game, because if you're a survival gamer, you should definitely try this one out still. Next, we have a turn-based roguelite that reminded me of Peglin with Dungeon Clawler. This game has a lot of potential and has a lot of variety for a demo, but still lacks essentials. The run consists of you using a claw machine to grab items to attack enemies or defend yourself from their attacks. The combat reminded me of Peglin mixed with Slay the Spire and was a lot of fun and had a lot of charm to it. The run in the demo lasted almost an hour, and I didn't even win, but the game does offer a lot of characters with different buffs and starting items, and genuinely was a great time. The biggest thing this game is missing is audio design. It needs a lot of little sound effects to help immerse you into the game. This next game is probably the most casual, but also one of the most aesthetically pleasing games that I played, and it's Waltz and Jam. You play as Waltz, and the objective of the game seems to be collecting 7 stamps so you can leave Cradle. You have a little partner called Blackhead who accompanies you on the journey and helps you find treasure and makes traversal a little bit easier. The combat and puzzles are super simple and remind me of an easier version of Tunic. This game had a lot of charm and ended the demo at a perfect time that enticed me to want to play the game more and buy the game to see the full story. A perfect casual experience, I would say. We picked up a side-scroller hero shooter game next with Metal Suits. They describe it as a hero shooter because the main gimmick of this game is changing into powerful suits throughout every level. The suits all have unique weapons and special attacks. Some feel a lot better than others, and while you don't have a suit, your character is incredibly squishy and can die quite easily. It's set up like an old school arcade game where you have X number of lives, and if you run out, you need to restart the entire level. Every level also has extra lives and items scattered across it. Overall, a fun demo that I beat in about 45 minutes and a game to keep your eye on. The one and only boomer shooter on this list is next with I Am Your Beast, the shortest demo so far with a solid 16 minutes and 4 levels. It reminded me of Neon White with how fast-paced it was, but with guns. Every level you have a clear objective that you need to do, and then once the objective is done, you get to the escape pod. I enjoyed the combat after the first level as I got used to it, and it was generally pretty hard as you had to play smart and fast because you wanted the best time possible. A must pick up for classic shooter game fans or even a Neon White fan, I would say. I could see them enjoying this as well. Hell, I enjoyed Neon White a lot, so I'll probably be playing this one on day one when it releases in August. We have one more racing game to talk about, and this is now the shortest game played with 12 minutes on the demo, but it's Parking Garage Rally Circuit. Visually, this game doesn't look the greatest, but it's supposed to replicate a Sega Saturn game. The demo had 3 races and 2 cars to play as, but it was a good time. Not much to say with this one. The racing felt really good, the controls were smooth, and drifting was OP. A nice, quick game. One to play if you're a racing fan. Now here's a game that I've been super excited for since the Triple I showcase, and it's Kill Knight. This game is super simple. You kill things and get a high score. That's all the demo showcased, and that's all it needed to do. Your Knight character has a lot of weapons at their disposal, and a lot of fun combos can happen. This game reminds me of Kill the Crows, where you just want to get the highest score possible, and every run you tell yourself just one more, since the runs only take a few minutes. 100% a game I'll be playing on day one. Now we have another action roguelite named Lost Castle 2, another game you can play in co-op if you want to, but I played solo. At first, the game felt incredibly slow for me, but once I got into a second run, it felt a lot better, and the game opened up a lot more. Every run, you can have items that get buffed by runes, and items that give you more rune powers with the 3 runes all representing a different color. You can carry as many of these items as you want, which can allow for a pretty insane run. I somehow cleared the demo on my second try because of some insane buffs. The combat as a whole felt really good and unique with the items at your disposal. Even if you take a lot of damage, it's pretty simple to dodge. The meta progression at first felt slow and not really worth it, and in the end, it still felt pretty meh to me, I will say. The meta progression was eh, but a great action roguelite that you can play with a friend or solo. And the final game we have to talk about is Dungeons and Degenerates Gamblers. This is a blackjack-style roguelite game that of course reminded me of Balatro, but I love blackjack, so I had to pick it up. Inside the run, you just play blackjack against people. CPUs, of course. You buy cards with the chips that you win and have some fun events to get bonus cards or maybe lose some of your own. To make the game interesting, it has a lot of unique cards with modifiers to really change a typical game of blackjack, and that makes it stand out a lot more to me. If you're a blackjack fan or even a Balatro fan, I would suggest keeping your eye out on this one. It was a really good time with my one run. And that's 20 incredible indies reviewed in a quick amount of time. I don't think I could have picked a better list of indie games to play during the Steam Next Game Fest, so thanks for watching. An extra special shout out to the people that support me on Patreon still. That extra support really means the world. And yeah, really, this was a great Next Fest, and indie games are going to be popping for the rest of the year, so I'm excited for that. And yeah, I'll see you next time.